Alright, so if you're like anybody in the world right now, you're probably either self-isolating or under quarantine. So if you've got tools at home and you're thinking about doing a haircut, here's some tips and tricks so you don't completely mess it up. We'll see. Okay, so first things first. Alright. If the thing that's bothering you is that you've just got a neckline that just looks just terrible and it's driving you nuts, one thing you can do is you can put a hat on the back of your head and then just clean up underneath it all that hair, just lining that up with kind of right around that area and then just cleaning all that up. It's a great way to get a bit of a haircut in, but not completely mess up your neckline, because I feel like most people, that'll get you through for a while. If it's going to be more long term, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to do an actual haircut. There we go, sideways. Okay, so when you're doing a haircut, there is the natural hairline, there is the sides, there's cutting the top, and then there's blending it in. You're going to spend like 20% of your time on the sides, 10% of your time on the neckline, 10% of the time on the top, and then the rest of it just blending it because it's really freaking hard. It's what makes us earn the big bucks in this industry. So I found like a simple wall at the store. It does not have a lever on the side. If you have a lever on the sides, it's way easier, but let's just deal with it. So this haircut will work up to like a 4-guard on the sides, but we're gonna go crazy short with him, and I'm just gonna kind of show you some things that you can keep in mind when you're doing a haircut. So when you're doing a haircut, understand that the amount of time and space that you're gonna need to blend is gonna be about 2 to 4 times as much as you think you need. So when we're gonna blend, we want the blend to be up here, but we're gonna put it here with the actual line because the blending time disappears and you just keep working that line up and up and up and up and up, and the next thing you know, you've got a mohawk. So you want to start low and then slowly work your way up. So I'm gonna go right in with a no guard because, you know, why not? But you can also start with a longer guard and kind of work your way down. One important thing is just give yourself a nice clean line and just look at that little temple, and then almost everybody's got that little line where it kind of comes out and then goes back in. So most fades, on most people, if you're going really short, if you just kind of bring it right to that line and then work your way back, it'll give you a nice high fade blend. One thing to consider before you start cutting hair on somebody is like just making sure that they don't have hat hair, because if they've got hat hair or curls or they've been sweating, hairs will be sticking down, and then you wash it the next day and you're like, what happened to my beautiful haircut? So one really great way to just get rid of that is to just give them a quick wash before you give them a haircut. So we're watching that, it's a nice line. I'm slowly bringing it down just a hair. It just kind of makes it flow better. And I'm gonna have you flip around.
This way?
Yeah. So you see where that spot is over there. And then we're just gonna find that same spot over here. It's hard to tell, sorry he's blonde. But anyway, there's that little spot where it pokes out at the temple. And that's just a really great spot to look for, and you know that you're doing the same thing on both sides and to be consistent. if somebody's got really long hair and you're still wanting to see that line, even if you're using a longer dart, a great way to make sure that you've got that nice line is to just kind of push the hair down and then rock out. And that'll give you that nice work. I don't know if you can see, like that. Okay. So, and we turn around and I'll show you how to do the back. At this point, you're just going to have this weird random spot in the back, or it's like whatever. So all you're going to do is just kind of level that out. Sometimes when you get too into it, you don't really see what you're doing. So if you do it in the bathroom and you have a mirror, I highly suggest looking in the mirror and seeing how even you are. Like right now, we need to bring this up a little bit because this side's just a tiny bit higher and this side's just a tiny bit lower. So we'll just do that. It's not a big deal. Now look, we've got a decent line going all around. And the fact is sometimes you'll kind of see optical illusions because you see how that lays, but really it's even. It just doesn't look like it right now. Trust me, I'm a professional. So, you got a shitty pair of scissors in your box. You've got hair on top. Yeah. So if you're going to leave it pretty long, the longer you leave it, the less you're going to notice what's going on. So he always combs it forward. A good trick to make it so it doesn't look like complete butt is if you take the hair, you comb it up, and then you cut it in lines so it's going forward. And then you're not going to see those funky ridges because once it's going forward, it's just not there. And then also, when you're not cutting and you don't know what to do with your comb, if you just put it between these fingers, grab it, put it between these fingers, grab it, put it between these fingers, and then with the comb, with the scissors, you're gonna palm it by holding it with that finger still, and then back. That's how you do the cut part. I know, it's a thing. So, an easy length is finger length, and all you do for finger length is have it so your hand's touching the head, and then you come straight up, and whatever's between your fingers you just cut it. You can also wet the hair. We're not cutting that much hair off, and I'm mediocre on whether or not I'm going to wet it down today, so it's whatevs. Although I highly recommend having them take a quick shower afterwards and double checking over it because there's always going to be like a couple hairs that just do something crazy afterwards, and it's super annoying. So you're just taking little panels and pretty much doing maybe 5 to 6 panels, like here, 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 just getting every little patch. And the great thing about finger length is if you can pull hair up between your fingers, you can cut it. So you don't have to worry too much about it. If you're wanting to leave longer, most scissors or combs will have like a little measuring on the side. Otherwise, just find your little spot and go for it. But frankly, if you're wanting to leave it super long, yeah, that's a whole nother level. But finger length is not hard. You can master that. Now, because he's styling it forward, if you go through like this, you're gonna leave these ridge lines that he's gonna be able to see, and those are a pain in the butt, so don't do that. But if you want to cross-check and make sure that you did a good job, you can go like this. So you're taking it diagonally through, and then just double-check through there. And if you see little furrows, you can get them. Sorry, this is not the best quality. Try to find a spot. So yeah, anything you see, you can get it. If it's fitting between your fingers, you can cut it. But because we are combing it forward, and because we cut it this way, because it cuts forward, if somebody comes over to the side, you will want to go this way because they're going to the side. That's just kind of how it is. So whichever way they cut it, make the lines in that way. And then you won't see things. Furrows and all that other stuff. So we've cut the top. With him, we're really not worrying around the edges. But if you were to have done a longer cut, just go around the very edges of the haircut and find where the hairline is, and just whatever like scraggly junk that you see outside of it, just carefully get it. But keep it like low, keep it easy, don't get too much. So, because we did finger length, I'm gonna start off with a 4, which is also 1/2 inch or 13 millimeters. We're gonna tap that on there. And then we're just gonna go pretty much up to the hairline, and we're just gonna cut all that. We're gonna go over to the side, and then we're just gonna kind of pop it until it falls off. See what that? And the thing is, when we're doing the fade, don't stress out about what hair isn't coming off. Just watch where you're going and just do it. And if some hair pops off, some hair pops off. It doesn't, because this is a kind of a slow, gradual process, but you don't want to rush. But I know finger length isn't that far off from the floor, so I can just slowly bring that forward. And then every continued guard that you throw through, you're going to go just a little bit lower than that first spot. And then because of how crazy his cowlick is, I'm just going to go in like that. And I'm just going to grab it and call it a day. So, now we're going to throw the 3 on. We're just going to go a little bit lower with the 3. This is all visual. Just kind of whatever falls on the 3 we take. And if you're at a higher guard, you're going to see much less to take off. There's going to be way less of a blend, but that's okay. It means you got to make your job. But if you decided to go crazy short because YOLO, this is the way you go. So next we've got the 2 guard, which is 6 millimeters and 1/4 inch. And then, yeah, we're just taking it a tiny bit, just not quite as high. So with that 4, we just brought it all the way up. 3 went a little bit lower, and then with the 2, and now it's not quite as high. But we're still rocking it, kind of flipping it. And then when you're not hearing it catch on anything anymore, you just go down to the next head, which is a 1.5, which is 3/16 of an inch or 4.5 millimeters. And we just take that a little bit lower. And yeah, with that 4, we were basically taking it to where his recession is. So between the recession and that line, that's where the bulk of all fading happens. Recessions are on every man, whether or not he thinks he has any kind of hairline. Every guy's got that spot where the hairline just pops up a little bit. And that's where you're going to have the longest guard in your fade most of the time. This is just one haircut. There's a handful of them out there, but this is one. Once you get a feel for it, you'll kind of see. Sometimes you have to go up and down a little. Like sometimes you take this up and you're like, ooh, I'm seeing a line again. So you just pop the next number up and work through it again. And now we are on a 1. So we're only like a half a guard away from completely blending this out. And this is where the magic happens, because you just see that and you're just like, boom. That fade's just popping in there. It's looking so much better. I know you probably wouldn't have that much faith in me, but you can almost see it. You can tell. It's like on the camera you can hardly even see that there's still a line, but if you're here you can see there's just the tiniest micro line still. But yeah, it's not bad. And honestly, it's any line that's still there right now, you won't see in like 3 days. So if you can't quite work the rest of it out, don't stress about it too much because it'll be gone. And honestly, maybe this will be the new thing, like the quarantine haircut bowl line. It's pretty rockin'. So this is a half guard, which is 1/16 of an inch and 1.5 millimeters. Tap that on there, and then just barely push it. Just see that line and just kind of tap it. If their scalp's moving around a lot, you can kind of pull it anywhere, and then just squeeze in there. Now, nicer clippers have an open close on them on the side that makes it so that the teeth or the chin shape just a little bit, and you can get a little bit more in depth with those. But with your little standard tool that you have around to clean your beard up, I did not see any with that on it at the store. I went out and actually bought this just to show that you can actually do a not horrendously bad haircuts with, you know, something you can buy at the store. But would I say this is at par with something that you can get in this salon? I don't know, maybe. And then another thing, if you're brave, you can take this and just not having it flat against their head, but just out a little bit, and just, if you're very brave. Understand that if you go more than like that into it, you're gonna completely jack up the haircut. This is not the kind of haircut you want to do after you've had a bottle of wine. But it'll probably look amazing that night in your head, and then you wake up the next morning and you're like, oh my god, what did we do last night? That was a bad idea. Then, if you still just feel like it needs a hair more work, you can just throw on higher, longer guards and just work through it a little bit. So this is a 2, and we're just gonna kind of just go back in there and just check and see. But I highly suggest kind of reading it because, frankly, it's not bad. And if people have like really crazy colic situations going on that are just sticking out like crazy and you cannot handle them, just start around this area, like right kind of where the hairline, like where the head gets taller, and then just kind of take a foreguard and just work that area off. And just take the 4 and work it here, and then take the 3 and then work it there. And then just kind of bring it forward, so I'll show you. So here's a foreguard. His colic actually lays pretty well, but we usually will go pretty short here anyway just because why not. So you're just going to take this clipper and you're just going to work it, grab the hair in here somewhere, and then just let it happen. And then you'll pop on the 3. I also suggest like keeping all of the guards nice and where they need to be because, frankly, it's easier to go back and forth when you know what you've got to work with and where it is. But sometimes you just throw them. These are all black, which is kind of frustrating because they don't look quite like the ones I had to work, so it's a little bit harder to see. But anyway, yeah, you can tell like there really isn't much of a line there because finger length and a foreguard are crazy different, but that colic will be taken care of, especially if you're having issues with cutting. And then yeah, what you do is you can just kind of hop in here and then just right on that pink, like the tips of your finger, you'll see kind of this little line edge situation. Maybe close a little bit. I suck. Okay, so this situation here, you'll see this little corner, and then yeah, you'll just cut that off, and that'll kind of get rid of that weird line that you're seeing, where like the hair changes from kind of rough texture to smooth. If you did that before. So yeah, in general, that's kind of where it's at. It's nice and smooth. Is this a perfect haircut? I can't say it's the most perfect haircut ever, but you know what? It's okay. I'll have you show on the other side. And then yeah, like I said, if the back, you saw a teeny bit wrong with the back, it really kind of goes away. And then also, sometimes some of the hair in there just lays more. So just have them go take a shower, and then if they come out and you see just like these crazy long hairs sticking out after the shower, kind of like you can almost see something going on right in there. Yeah, just go through and find it and take them out and you'll be good to go. But yeah, so this is the finished-ish haircut of a fade. And yeah, hopefully we'll only be doing this a couple times, and you know, it doesn't look too far off from this when you get done with it. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good one.